And here we are. It's a grudge match, and that was not true at the start of the night, at the start of this group, but Nightmare took herO to the cleaners in the first series. It was a long game, it was a short game, and in both, Nightmare kind of just beat herO down. So now we get to see if herO has round 2, has been able to level up, has been able to warm up into this series, because again, this is a series where herO is favored. 78 to 22 percentage wise. That's what a Leggy Lack says. Nightmare has only ever won 2 series in the entirety of Legacy of the Void, and one of those series was, of course, earlier today. Let's see if the second one is going to make that happen as well. I don't know. I legitimately, again, I do not watch the GSL anymore because I want to make sure, as much as I enjoy Tasteless and State, they're great. 8 out of 8. As much as I enjoy that, and as much as I want to support that, I want to make sure that when I'm casting these, I don't know what's happening. I want to make sure that this is fresh to my eyes, so we get to appreciate it together. That's a lot more fun. That's a lot more exciting. So for now, we see... Actually, it's, yeah, double gate expand. Never mind. So double gate expand on Gressfon. Where do you go, right? We saw a lot of interesting things. We didn't see any just, you know, get 2 bases, get blink, move into a robot, get a third, get +1, move out with +2 maybe, get into a robot, like your really standard PvP. We saw aggression. We saw shenanigans. We saw defensive and offensive DTs and all other sorts of things. And the games were decided, I'm not going to say fairly early, like on the clock, because they did go a while, but they were fairly early into the game's development. All right, we stayed on 2 bases quite a bit. We stayed on early game tech for a bit. It was a Peter Pan game, Peter Pan series. You know, it was the games that never grew up. But now we get to see whether either of these players have grown up or maybe thought some more about strats. Now, of course, you're a Nightmare. You know, they if you're prepping for this, you know, you're prepping. Well, actually, I mean, this was this group was really painful for herO and Nightmare to prep for, right? Because you got to prep Zerg builds, Protoss builds, and Terran builds. Or PvZ, PvT, and PvP builds, whereas Ragnarok and Beyond only had to do 2 matchups. So, again, a little bit more painful there. And the question now is, how deep does the preparation go? Right? Like, on the one hand, you can go, and you can prep for the first series because you are very confident you're not going to run into them again. And then you just say, you know, I'm going to rely on what makes me me on the second part. Or you can go and you can prep 6 games deep on every player. And I think that is probably far more likely. Again, just knowing what we know about these players. So for now, or just we know about the GSL for now, Nightmare goes for I don't even know that this was for a proxy necessarily, but certainly, you know, just a pylon on the map, and it gets found immediately. You had such a read on that. You had such a read on that. But Nightmare trying to get a little bit more aggressive. And, you know, he's going to get this Sentry, and yeah, well, here doesn't pull back. So Sentry falls, Adept shade in, not into the main, but they still get a they get 2 probes. 2 probes and a Sentry for 2 Adepts. Come on, herO. Come on! I really expected more from him. Honestly, though. herO should not have... Is it game ending? Absolutely not. But you really do not expect to see herO take that amount of damage from just 2 Adepts at 5 minutes. You know, that's just not a thing. But herO is the one that's getting aggressive right now. He doesn't have Blink, right? This is just Stalkers on the map. And in fact, it seems like he's not going to get as aggressive as it... He's going to posture, right? That's the play. You sit in the middle of the map. You go and make sure that... any sort of pressure early, you know, any sort of map presence that Nightmare has is going to get shut down because herO, he's got a Warp Prism. He's got a couple of Adepts in that Warp Prism. He wants to force Nightmare into his natural, maybe. Force Nightmare onto the map, kind of trigger an attack and then run in with the main. But for now, herO isn't going to have that opportunity because he understands that his Blink is very late. In fact, He's got a Twilight, but he's not. There we go. There's the blink on the way. So he understands that any army on the map with blink, this is blink timing. He does have to be very careful, but these adepts in the main base. 3 workers go down. It's probably going to be 4 or 5. There we go. He's going to get 5. And now pick up, run away. Stalkers, they have blink, but it's Lannis, or it's dead air space. They can't catch them yet. Now blink is on the way, but Nightmare taking advantage of this blink timing that he has. And I don't know if he knows that herO has one, but I think with the Warp Prism and the Adepts and everything else, I think he's going to have the read that, okay, no, this blink's a little slower. He's taking advantage of this map controller, this implicit map control, right, with this ability to blink, to make sure that he can get his third base faster. So here's third base is very delayed here. He's going to probably have to wait until blink is done, given the game state. But as I say that, he's going up to 4 gateway. No, there's the third. Okay, never mind. He's going up to 4 gateways, though, as of course that's what you want to do. You improve your production a little bit. But now, where do we go from here? I mean, it's Crestfun. It's a big map. herO got damage done with a Warp Prism drop. In fact, the Warp Prism is still sitting there in the upper left, just waiting for an opportunity. And Stalkers are eventually going to run down a little bit further away, maybe give herO an opening eventually. But herO is about the time. Blink is done or nearabouts. Immortal in this army as well. So in pure fighting force, this army is just better. I'd rather have 2 Immortals than 2 additional Stalkers any day of the week. So blink done. Just about. Immortals on the way. Warp Prism thinking about moving into the main base. And, thought I saw that. Never mind. Warp Prism still behind the mineral line for now. So this is the opportunity. Meanwhile, though, Nightmare's got a couple of depths on the other side. herO blinks on top of things. Gets the sentries. Oh, so quickly here, but shield battery overcharge is a powerful thing. And let's see what's happening on the other side of the map here. So, what do we got? We got, actually the adepts have been dealt with, but Stalkers get on top, Immortals fall. So 3 workers die, but more importantly, here's the thing. herO was distracted. He was not able to go and find the value that he wants, but still workers fall on the other side. Warp Prism goes down, and now the adepts in the main base, they're marooned. They're stranded, but it's 5 workers. Although, as I say that, Nightmare got 3. It's not quite as powerful as you might otherwise expect. The adepts warp down to the natural. They're finally going to fall. Okay. There we go. And realistically, we just kind of go back to even. herO doesn't have an Immortal anymore. Nightmare has 1. Here's got a Warp Prism that Nightmare doesn't have. Moving into his own Immortals back again. Getting Zealot legs as well. Briefly, he was up a couple workers, but now that's even. And kind of at the end of the day, it's very, very equivalent here. Slightest edge, tiniest edge to herO. But Nightmare is going to run up the ramp right there, and he does not want to do that one. Nice observer just to track the army from Nightmare. So now, we're looking for a break point. And I think it's going to be charge. I think that's kind of how you start to break this game open. If you're herO, you have charge lots in the main with a Warp Prism. You win a fight that maybe Nightmare's not expecting, because Nightmare does not have charge. He doesn't even have it on the way. So Adepts, they're going to warp in. This Warp Prism has to be very careful. Stalkers, they're thinking about jumping on top, but they have to deal with the Adepts. The Warp Prism is going to find its way behind the mineral line. And this pressure from Nightmare, well, it's not going to get a lot. The Adepts do, though. And 3 workers will fall, so... And Nightmare just has these shifted down. These Adepts will eventually die, but not before significant damage. So, all of a sudden, Nightmare's up 9 workers. Despite herO getting damage, by the way, on the other side. herO, I think he cut probes a little bit. He didn't start reprobing quite as quickly as Nightmare did. Whoa, this is awkward. herO sees this. He's aware. I don't think Nightmare was, though. He sees the pylon. That's just about that. But I don't know that he saw it, if that makes sense. He has it on the minimap. So now there's pressure coming in from herO on the bottom side. He's up 10 army supply. Zealots are warping in. He's got charge here. It's done. That is such a powerful timing, but he's got to bring the Zealots to the front just to force the blink more. So now he blinks left side. Zealots make the engagement happen. With the Immortal here in the shield battery, hero's got to back up. Brings that Immortal to the fray a little bit more. And by the way, there's a Warp Prism in the main. It's getting damage done. So herO, he's got to deal with things on multiple sides, or Nightmare's got to deal with things on multiple sides. The probes are going to get pulled. herO not quite microing at the front well enough, not just yet, but he's getting a ton of damage in the main base as well. And now the Zealots are going to try to run in once again. Shield battery overcharge. Well, it's just not available. Not right now. So the Zealots, they get on top of things. This Immortal is just, it's so low, cutting backwards as much as he can. But it seems like despite all of this, herO is going to be forced back. Lots of damage done. These stalkers are very low. But I don't think herO got enough for what he was looking for. The War Prism died. herO's still down 8 workers. I was casting that because on the assumption that herO was pushing through because the fight looked good at first, and you know, Nightmare was not really dealing with it super well in the main. But he put the stalkers in a choke, and Zealots couldn't get the engage, and all of a sudden it's like, no, Nightmare kind of won on both fronts. But herO, with a supply, once again gets on top of the Immortal, knocks that down. That's big. Even still, though, I love the Adepts here from Nightmare are fantastic. They shred the Zealots. That big tech lead that herO had, well, it's not really there anymore. Blinks on top, shield battery, overcharge goes down. Immortal on the backline's doing so well, but only half the stalkers covered by the Guardian shield until right now. So another shield battery is gonna be up here. 9 more workers fall, and more Zealots are gonna warp in. This Firebase of an Immortal is fantastic, but it's a superior concave for Nightmare here. He's got defender's advantage. He's got shield batteries just keeping parts of his army alive, and this army from herO's just not fighting. Nightmare wins the blink battle once again, and that is not what we expected. herO does not lose blink battles. Like, not against Nightmare, but it happens anyways. Nightmare takes game 1. Of all the intros, that was one of them. But now it's Nightmare, and it's herO. Game 2. herO's life on the line, and Nightmare not inclined to make this easy at all. Of course, we're on a big map. Actually, we're not even on that big of a map, but the question is now, 3 games in, has herO seen enough? Do we know what Nightmare's going to do? Has herO finally found a solution? Because as of right now, he's 0-3 to Nightmare. Nightmare today has just really come out with that secret, that special sauce, whatever it is, and it's just, he is out-microing herO in stalker fights. Like, that in and of itself is just insanely impressive. It's like out-microing Bjorn in a marine fight. It's just not a thing. It just doesn't happen. But Nightmare is doing it here, and does that change how herO's playing? If he's just not winning the stalker wars like he's used to doing, that you would expect, does herO change it up? Do we see maybe Charizard Archon, which is very rare in this meta, let's be clear. Do we see him just kind of move into Disruptors very quickly? There are ways to kind of not opt into the Blink Stalker versus Blink Stalker battle, but I think the big thing here, even more than that micro differential, is just the fact that herO is attacking into defensive positions, and he is getting punished for it. It's almost like he's, I'm not going to say he disrespects Nightmare, because I'm sure he respects him very much as a person and a player, but it's like he's just disrespecting Nightmare a little bit, saying, oh yeah, clearly I've got more stuff, I can win this. Even with Defender's advantage, I'm going to beat you because I have 2 more Stalkers. Which, in fairness, against most Protoss players, he's right. Absolutely. You know, he's just so good. But today against Nightmare, no. The answer is not really. So I think we're gonna have to see herO move in and play a little more like a more classic PvP, or a more classical PvP. Not saying he has to take a page out of the Twisted Minds Protoss player, but play something a little bit more respectful. If your opponent has a massive army and the supplies look just about equal and they have a shield battery, you probably shouldn't blink into that. You know, probably better to back up, establish map control, wait to fight them elsewhere. But for now, you know, the Adept will fall. herO gets a scout off, sees the timing on the Nexus, and realizes that, yeah, you know, his is just a little bit slower, but he does have the Oracle. But actually, I gotta be a little afraid out of Nightmare's pressure here. He's got 2 gateways. Oh, it's such a good scout from herO. He sees the pylon, sees the probe, and that should tell him quite a lot. In fact, yeah, he's just gonna pull this. He was planning on pressuring with the Stalkers and the Oracle, but he's just gonna pull the Stalkers home now. Kill the pylon. Don't allow Nightmare to do whatever Nightmare wanted to do. Hey, Vibe, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you were having a good time. Have a good time tonight. Hope you had a good stream. Now, let's see what herO can find. It's a single Oracle. It's not super committed, so you don't have to go and kill 5 workers to make this worthwhile. It's just, you got to do something. Thank you, Vibe. But as that second Oracle's been added in, this is an opportunity here, right? There is no blink. Your Stalkers are just reliant on position, so Oracles dive into the natural, get a couple workers here, but it's the Adepts in the natural and attempted Oracles in the main that may be worth more. Even still, though, Nightmare's aware of this. Nightmare is well prepared, so it's only 5 workers that die, and one Oracle, I mean, he's going to try to find his way up. Stalkers have this well positioned, even still, yeah. Too much dead airspace. That's not going to happen. So now with 5 workers down, herO builds himself, small, a decent economic lead for himself, and other than that, I mean, we're very mirrored. Blink is just a little bit faster for Nightmare, but Nightmare's one attempted bit of aggression was shut down very early, right? The pylon went down, Oracles dive in, they're just no Stalkers. They're elsewhere, they're guarding every corner of the map, but 4 workers go down, and okay, 1 Oracle will fall. I'll give credit where credit's due there. Well, that's 9 probes for an Oracle. That's pretty solid coming out of herO early. He lost a couple Adepts too, right? Yeah, and 3 Adepts. So maybe not quite as cost effective, but it buys herO a 5 worker lead. It buys him time, it buys him tempo. And well, eventually Nightmare will be able to get himself back up to 42, 48 probes, something like that. At this point, it's all about hitting your timing faster. It's about maxing out or hitting maximum saturation faster so you can build army faster and structures faster and things of that nature. So for now, herO is the one that has that bit of an advantage, up about, 5, 6 workers, something like that. And he's going to block the third just a little bit. Stalkers are going to kill this probe immediately. But hey, you know what? It's a good scout. And actually, herO he's hitting the tempo on this. He does not want Nightmare to be able to take the third. He also knows that Nightmare is probably banking a little money to take that third base. So he's going to try to really just punish this right now. He's up 1 gateway. 4 gateways to 3, and this probe's dead. That is certainly the case if ever decides to target it down. Stalkers blink forward. It's blink versus blink, but herO just first movers advantage here. And now just into the natural. I think he's fine denying the third, but he's going to try to get so much more. Kills the probe on the backside. And now he's going to be forced back just a little bit. Stalker for Stalker gets greedy, gets another one. And I don't think this greed's going to get punished. He's going to get out of here, trading Stalker for Stalker even still. And there is more Stalkers on the high ground, and the high ground vision snipes down. Well, actually, he's not going to even feel the need to snipe that down. So herO delays the third base. Loses 6 Stalkers for 8. And continues to find more value. Now, the one thing here that we look at is that, well, he's denied the third base of Nightmare, pretty significantly. Nightmare still doesn't have it on the way. herO wasn't all that quick with his third base either. It's only just now getting started, so that's something you got to pay attention to. All right, herO, he's only up 3 workers. He's only on 47. He's building more probes, of course. But the big deal, of course, is he just has a superior Stalker army on the map, and he supply blocked Nightmare. Nightmare lost the pylon. He was 83 out of 81 very briefly, or that's not even the right math. Whatever it was, it was like 81 out of 78. As just sitting there, supply block briefly, but had more pylons up fairly consistently. But what this does again, right? Quicker third base, more probes, better trading. It means that herO can move into charge. He can move into +1. He can hit this really powerful +1 blink charge timing. And, I mean, we saw him try to hit that in game number 1. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out here. But herO, a little bit more. Adepts into the natural. 2 workers go down, and now he's up 11 workers. Chronoing out of 3 bases. But, interestingly enough, not chronoing charger +1. So I guess that he's content to just kind of get his full 3 base saturation, get his economy up before he really commits into that next round of pressure. And that's fine. I mean, he's up 13 workers. Look at his production tab compared to, this is so awesome. Look at this. He's not even, he's taking the backside gold. He's going to really commit into Zealots here. He doesn't need this gas. He's got 3 gases that he has not claimed in his main base and his natural, that he can look to, and his third, that he can look to mine out of. So just get the Nexus behind the gold mineral line. This is highly unlikely to get scouted. And it mines pretty much just as efficiently. In fact, it may mine... Am I crazy? No, it doesn't mine more efficiently. Slightly less efficiently, but if he doesn't get scouted, that works out very well. But look at what Nightmare's doing. This is taking a page out of herO from a year ago, and I love to see it. He's warping into depths, right? 3 at a time, 4 at a time, as many as he can get at a time. Because he understands how powerful this charge timing is, and he understands that is kind of how herO likes to close games out. But not only is he warping into depths, he's warping in adept glaives. These zealots get shredded. And if herO makes the zealot, I mean, he's taking the gold base just for the minerals. He's making zealots a significant component of his composition. If he shreds that, if he just has this hard counter to half, 2/3 of herO's army, all of a sudden, I mean, this is just... That's the comeback Nightmare needs. That is what he's going to be looking for, and I think it's very reasonable to expect that is going to happen. So glaives are done. And herO's going to have to scout this out. He's just got the Oracle in the main. He just keeps revelating the main. But that doesn't tell him what's happening here. That does not tell him about these adepts. So this is going to be very interesting to see if by the way, 5th base done for herO on the right side. It's going to be very interesting. Okay, no, that's a big scout there. herO sees the army. And now, yeah, immediate Archons. Just do not take this fight right now, herO. You don't have the tech for it. Just buy time. Kite backwards, but Nightmare's going to try to force it right now. herO's got to run. He only has that one Archon, and now his army very zoned out here. This is a great position for Nightmare if he can find it. It's a dead Immortal. That's a good start. That's a great start. But we got to see what he can get more. So now inside track onto the 3rd base here. There's one Archon. There needs to be more. Needs to be able to get on top, and even still, the Archon's just not ready yet. So Zealots run forward. They get shredded. Nightmare, he's up 20 army supply. He can back up and get the right side base. He doesn't know about the gold. He can back up and get the right side base, but he is pushing so much further forward. Thinking about dropping the Archon forward, gets a shot, backs up, does it again. herO micring for all of his worth here. The Zealots, they're trapped backwards. They can't take the fight yet. And now more adepts, they're getting warped in, but the first round of adepts starting to fall. This is herO's opportunity before the second round starts to join the fray. Archon stuck in the back line, but now the adepts, they're just not fighting. +1's done for herO. +2 is done for herO. And this was such a powerful timing, but it's not going to work out at all. The Warp Prism will fall. Last second adepts go in. And yes, probes had to get pulled here. Yes, probes die. But this was the all-in. The Nightmare was all in off of this. This was the one thing, the one hope, the opportunity that he had to win this game. And herO barely, narrowly takes it. Narrowly takes the fight. And now he's sitting on a gold. He's got 5 bases to Nightmare's 3. He's got +2 versus +0. You're not going to build You're not going to build adepts anymore. You can't build critical mass. So now the Zealots, they are that much more powerful. They get on top of things. This Immortal as well. This +2 Immortal raining hellfire onto Nightmare. And it seems very likely that we're going to move on to game 3 of this series very quickly in short order. There's nothing that Nightmare can do anymore. It was a cool idea. It was a fantastic attempt at a comeback. But herO, he got the read, he got the scout, and we get to go to game 3. There we go. I love maps where I actively can't drag the camera further left or further right, so we just get to see this, you know? We don't get to see the base. We don't get to see interesting things. It's just a totally empty screen and the Nexus superimposed. So, good enough. Anyways, this is game 3. This is all that matters. It's Nightmare, it's herO. One of these two players will find their way into the round of 8. One of them will go home, and what a map. What a map to end it on. It's not Aggressfon. It's not the best map in the pool. But Altitude is a absolutely massive map. This is a map that you can take 4 bases, 5 bases. It's long as hell. There are 4, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there are 5 height levels. You have so much defender's advantage, so much space you can control. And actually, herO loses the fight against the enemy probes. He's got to pull back. Natural's going to be delayed just a little bit here. And that means that, of course, this pylon can go down. And herO's doing the same thing. But, of course, the other thing we have to talk about, and we're seeing it right here, is that this is a single gate expand map. There is a low ground natural, or a low ground ramp, excuse me. And Now that does slow things. Oh, he's going to drop another pylon. Not going to wait for the first one to completely drop a cyber, as often happens, but instead just drops the second pylon. There are, in fact, 5 levels main. Natural. Outside of the third. Even further outside of the third. In the water. To my knowledge, there are 2 maps that have had 5 levels. One of them was Pride of Altaris, which was I think, not a great map. The 8 mineral patch gold was just a little broken. Also maybe a little too turtly if not for that. And now we have Altitude, also experimenting with 5 levels in the pool, and I don't know that it's the best map. I think it's good for this setup. I think it's going to be interesting to see the PvP we have here, but I don't think it's the best map. I think just in StarCraft, as we're starting to learn a little bit, that when you have that many levels, that's so many ramps and chokes that you can fight through, it just becomes a little too turtly. Is kind of the best way to say that. But anyway, 2 Stalkers and a Zealot versus 1 Stalker and a Zealot. Nightmare tries to find value, but there's a shield battery here, so this really shouldn't get that much done. And of course, this is a Stargate opener coming out of herO. It's actually whatever tech we got out of Nightmare is delayed a little bit, but second gateway and a Twilight. So Stargate versus Blink, Tale as Old as Time, Darkest Rhyme, Beauty and the Beast, and this game. The question now is what herO can find. So there's a shield battery in the main base. Now, of course, you can burst through that. It takes about 6, I think, damage instances, 6 ticks of damage from an Oracle to knock it down, but hero's not going to play around with that. Not this time. So it drops the stasis, prevents 1 worker from mining. It's minimal. It's not worth all that much, but that Oracle will continue to find value over the course of the game, and realistically, we talked about this in game 2. herO is fighting for the 2 Oracle timing, where you can burst through shield battery, where you can one-tap probes, where you can do a lot of damage to Zealots or, Adepts, but really it's all about the workers. So for now, Oracle dives and then Natural gets 1. Really doesn't lose any shields here. The question, though, is whether herO is going to be able to A, find value, or B, bring the Oracles together without losing too much HP. And for now, it seems like the answer is no to both. He's a little trapped in here. So the Oracle, we see it on the left side. Yeah, it's going to have to go around the right side and kind of sneak in that way, I think, for them to pair up. So now Blink on the way for herO. Nightmare is just a little bit faster, as we expect. And in fact, we're not going to commit too hard on to killing things. Instead, Stasis Trap's on the map here. First move out from Nightmare is might just end up being that Nightmare. It's a Stasis Trap right outside of the Natural, and if Nightmare's not paying attention, ooh, buddy. Now, herO, I think, starting to realize that not only does he commit the energy for the Stasis Trap, but starting to realize other ways. I mean, just with the Stalkers that are here, that he's not going to be able to go, and he's not going to find value in the main base or the Natural with his Oracles. It's just not going to happen. So he recalls, and he brings them together, and now with the third base on the way, herO's is just a little faster, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, something like that. It's an advantage, but not one that's going to make or break the game. Well, the game goes on. We're seeing the upsides and the downsides of Altitude, where this map is so big that you really don't feel pressured to get the damage, to properly move out on the map, to really pressure your opponent, not before Blink, not before +1. We really find our way into this old gentleman's agreement of, you know what, okay, I can't attack, you can't attack, shake our hands, we're at +2, 4th base. And the Stasis Trap goes off, very nice. As herO gets a full scat, at least of the Natural there, so Robo done, charge on the way. It's 3 games in a row. hero's playing pretty much the exact same idea. Oracles into Blink, into a Robo, into Quick Charge. And Nightmare, 3 games in a row, has not gone for that Quick Charge. So that maybe is going to be an opportunity that herO may find for himself. We're going to have to find out. Game 1, it did not work. The charge timing, herO kind of smashed his head into just the steel wall that was Nightmare, and it eventually he kind of gave his army away. It didn't work. Game 2, though, herO, in part, herO found more damage in the early game with his oracles, and that was really nice. So herO was able to go and properly do what he wanted to do, and that charge timing became much more powerful. Although Nightmare had the real fun adept counter that almost worked, realistically. That was very close to working, even if it didn't. This game, though, herO leapfrogging that. He's got charge done, +1, or charge 2/3 of the way done, +1 halfway done, but he's got a very quick Templar Archives as well, so he kind of understands how Nightmare has been able to find value in previous games, you know, with the Adepts, with glaives or without, with or without glaives, so he's got a Templar Archives on the map. He's going to be able to build Archons as he wishes, and there we go. Archons are starting to get built into this army. And now we play, it's kind of, this game's a bit of an arms race, right? It's both players looking to be as greedy as they can, sneaking as many things out as possible, while staying safe. So you look at resources lost, you're like, okay, well, not a lot is happening here, and that's true. But the big deal really is it's you know, it's a game of chess. It's a game of double-blind chess where both players are really playing chicken on who wants to attack first, who can be greedier. But I think it's interesting that we point this out. herO is +1 is done, +2 is on the way, and I'm assuming, based on how fast this thing is going, yeah, he's chronoing this out. Nightmare's Forge is not done yet. herO is going to have that +2 timing, I think, with how mistimed this is. herO is going to be able to get +2 before +1 is done from Nightmare, and that is probably going to be around like the 170, 180 supply mark if they don't trade too heavily. So herO is going to have a very powerful timing. Nightmare has his Forge, and he doesn't have the upgrade started yet. There we go. There's +1, but at this point, I mean, now he's chronoing out charge. He's chronoing out +1. herO's up 6 workers. herO is equal in army supply, and his army is just better. And it will continue to be just better as this game goes on. We're looking at 4 Archons to 2, more, less Stalkers, sure, but charge lots as well. I mean, this +2 timing coming in from herO, and I mean, he's putting pressure on the map right now. Of course, the rest of his army just kind of sitting back, allowing the Stalkers to retreat. This +2 timing out of herO is just, it's massive. And there we go. +2. 20 seconds out, give or take, something like that. 170-ish supply. You know, I'm not going to say I know a thing or two about StarCraft, but there we go. And there we go. Okay, so second Robo on the way. Robo Bay on the way. So herO is moving into Disruptors behind this. If this timing doesn't quite work. 10 seconds. 10 seconds until +2 is done. So you have that positive timing. Stalkers, they think about it, but they're not going to tap the Oracle down. And now +2 is done. herO, you got to take this fight, right? Like, it is so good for you right now. You're up in army supply. You're up in tech. You're up 2 upgrades. Take the fight. But he's just going to let the timing lapse. +1 is going to be done in 3 seconds. And yeah, it's still a 1 upgrade lead, and that's great. But, I mean, 2 versus 0. He's just massive. It's so big. But now hero's maxed out. In fact, so maxed out that he's killing some of his own zealots, I think, to get disruptors out. Okay. And now he's thinking about running down the ramp here, and Stalkers just hold the high ground. Archons forward, zealots to the front here, charging forward, seeing what they can find, but it's not enough. Not yet. Maybe getting an Archon? Maybe getting an Archon. Nah, shield batteries. Shield batteries, too good. But herO does find his way down the ramp. A couple zealots deputized to start killing workers. Meanwhile, the Concave's here, and Disruptor is beautiful. Signaling, of course, that the time of the Archons are done. The time of the Immortals, well, it is past. Stalkers, they blink on top. They get 1 Disruptor there. And it seems like actually, the last of the flying units have gone down here as well. Superior Concave coming out of herO. But the Warp Prism does add that extra bit of just utility, maneuverability for Nightmare at this point. Stalkers blink right side. They're going to get the cannons. That's fantastic. Disruptor comes out from Nightmare, though. And that's a little bit more. Warp Prism leading this army. You got to be careful here. Warp Prism doesn't get targeted down. Disruptors fall. herO gets so much there, but he blinks forward with Stalkers on the right side. That does give an opportunity for Disruptors. Maybe. But the Archons, they're not dying just yet. Shield battery overcharge. So powerful. Immortals will fall. But the Archons of herO starting to fall down just a little bit. Feels like he's overstepped, but he does get the base. And that is, he's going to have to content himself with that one. This army is just herO. Okay, that's a disruptor coming through the army of Nightmare. herO has to reset. This is massive for herO right now. 15 workers, a base, a couple disruptors, Archons fall. But herO lost 4 Archons. He lost disruptors as well. This is not just a clean, a surgical cut end of the game that herO was looking for. Not yet. We're not there. But maybe we will be at some point. Maybe we'll get there in a minute, in 2 minutes, and something like that. The first thing herO does once he gets that base, he checks the north side. He checks the 12 o'clock base. It's like, oh, hey, Nightmare, you don't have something else, do you? Big disruptor shots here. Oh, that's like 5 zealots. It's not bad. And by the way, herO, with that +2 timing he had, he did not start +3 immediately. That's the big deal. So, in fact, he's not going to have +3. Well, he will have +3 versus +2, but the timings are... The advantages are shrinking, and Nightmare forced to cancel that 4th base again. You got to be careful with these Archons. Disruptors, they shred them. But herO pressing forward here. He's up 30 army supply. But there are enough disruptors at this point. We're looking at, what is that? 8 disruptors, 7 disruptors now as Nightmare loses one. He has enough to constantly send them out, to constantly zone them out. herO here, he could have killed a lot of disruptors, but instead he just loses so many stalkers. Not paying attention. He was trying to go for the run by, just did not have his camera on the army at that position, and that's weird. I was about to get excited because herO was going to snipe a bunch of disruptors, and instead he throws his stalkers away. His camera was elsewhere. He was warping in or doing something as he loses. herO, he's absolutely in a winning position in this game, but he's just kind of looking sloppy. That's nice, 2 for 1 is a solid disruptor trade. It just feels like we're seeing herO do things. It's just like, yeah, he's like 90% herO. There's just, oh, big disruptor shots everywhere. herO's just going to lose everything. herO, what are you doing, man? Where's the warp prism? Not with this army, I guess. I guess it's on the other side. No, that's just a bunch of zealots. herO's just not paying attention at all. He's losing. That's a solid disruptor shot. Zealots in the natural into the 3rd. I mean, they're on top of an Archon with shield batteries. Here you got to pull back. Like, this is just... He's still in the lead. He's still up a base. He still has a big army. He's still got upgrades. But... I mean, if we want to look at resources lost here, herO's lost more. He's just throwing things away willy-nilly, and he's still in a good spot. But Nightmare is starting to climb his way back into a game that Nightmare has no business playing into. At all. Like, I don't understand what's happening here. Regardless, Nightmare's now the one on the aggression. He's sitting on 6 disruptors to 3. And the disruptor shots from herO are not going to land. Not yet. So now here's the one that's pushed back hard. Stalkers blink forward, but Zealots re-engage. Disruptor from the right side. Let's see if herO can find what he wants, but no. Disruptors from Nightmare zoning it out here, and herO takes more shots on the disruptors, even more. herO doesn't have the splits. Disruptors are moving forward. He doesn't have a single shot he can hit with. The Zealots are going to try to join and make this fight somewhat of a winning one here, but herO again is just losing everything in this army. It's 47 army supply to 74, and the disruptor shots are just not landing. All of a sudden, herO gets a base. He goes up 50 army supply. He's in an incredible position, and he just starts throwing it away. And he throws it away, and he's still in a decent spot. He's still got upgrades. But Nightmare has a very real opportunity to win this game right now. He's got more disruptors. He's got more army in general. Down an upgrade, that's fine. If he can shove through the middle of the map, if he can get on top of production, Nightmare can win this game. From being down 2 bases, from being down 50 army supply, losing oh so much. Stalkers blink forward. They get a disruptor, and now it's on to production. The Robo Bay, the Robo will fall. Disruptor on the right side is going to try to find something. Nightmare should blink out of that one. He does, and his disruptors continue to zone. More Zealots are going to go down. I can't believe what I'm watching right now. herO is down supply. And even more importantly, he's down in army supply. He's up 20 workers, but it doesn't. He's got 1,000 minerals in the bank. He's going to go for a big surround here. He's going to get the warp prism. That's a solid hold here. That's a solid start. And the disruptors are lagging a little bit. herO can get on top of this one. One will fall. Second goes down. Disruptor lands, though, and there are still 3 here. So this is going to be maybe a dead Nexus. Got to blink away from that. Zealots on the charge. They're going to get more, and herO is starting to starting to contain this army. Probes are going to have to get pulled. The Stalkers are going to have another blink in a second. Yeah, the disruptors have died. but it's 29 dead probes. It's Zealots falling. It's Disruptors falling. And now Nightmare owns the high ground. But Nightmare is still very all in on this. He's only on 4 bases. There is no +3. He's not building more Disruptors here as a shot does not land. He has none. herO has 3. And herO can't build anymore, by the way. He lost the Robo Bay. He's got to rebuild that one. He hasn't realized it just yet. And so Nightmare, long distance mining, blinks on top. 1 Disruptor falls. Second one, third one here. Nightmare. Is this it? Is this the... No, he's not. Okay, Zealots on the right side. Didn't see those coming, and that will force things. +3 Zealots are absolutely nothing. Nothing to take lightly. So here, we're really starting to see the value of herO's economy starting to find its way. herO's got... What is that? 6 bases. Nightmare's got 5 or 4 and 1 long distance mining. But by holding this natural position here, I mean, look at resources lost. It's 7,000. 7,000 resources better for Nightmare at this point, give or take. And he does have to be careful, right? You know, upgrades, powerful, Stalkers blink forward. But this is actually getting a little scary here with his Archon with the Zealots on top. I mean, Stalkers in 2 clumps. This is getting a little bit scary for Nightmare right now. And Nightmare, I don't think Nightmare understands how good of a position he has. He's not building another base. He's not building another Nexus. He's long distance mining. He's not building Disruptors back until right now. He sensed victory. He thought he was going to be able to kill herO and just barely didn't. But also, he very much thought he was all in. So he's having a long distance mine out of the 12 o'clock base. Meanwhile, herO has just... hero's mining 1,000 more minerals a minute. As the Zealots get a little bit more, but they're going to have to run away. Recall and a big warp in. But hero's mining 1,000 more minerals a minute. A big deal, though. Part of that is that he is sitting on, like, 2 gas geysers. He is not mining much gas at all. He can build stock. And Nightmare's going to find long distance mining. herO can build Zealots. He can build the occasional Stalker. That is going to be about it. Disruptor on the left side. herO takes massive damage there. But the second one doesn't get enough. It does get damage on the Archon. And honestly, that's really solid. But now army supplies are somewhat equal here. And the Disruptor's not really the key thing. So Disruptor on the right side. Looking for that. Now Zealots run forward. Disruptor on the high ground here. This Archon will fall. Archon's at the front here. This is a pretty solid concave coming out of Nightmare at this point. Zealots not able to find the value. Not just yet, but the Stalkers blink forward. Immortals here. And the Zealots on the right side showing +3. +3 is the big deal that herO is able to have. But even still, he's up 20. He's down 20 army supply. But somehow he's mining 3,000 minerals a minute, despite attempting to long distance mine out of this base. He's got 61 probes and all but like 6 of them are mining minerals. He's just really trying to lean into that Zealot count. And now finally Nightmare. 12 o'clock base. Finally that 5th. But again, herO's on 6. Granted, this one only has 4 mineral patches, but that's also true of Nightmare. I mean, third bases were taken at very similar timings. Disruptor out. herO, is he gonna... Oh, he's not gonna fumble it this time. He's paying attention. And he's, of course... He's got an observer. He snipes his opponents. And he's got the Xel'Naga. So that is very fine. I don't know how I feel about Nightmare backing up here. I mean, I guess he had to make sure he got the Nexus up. But I feel like the way that Nightmare wins this game was just continuous pressure and shoving down outlying bases. Letting herO restabilize on this, again, this 3,000 minerals a minute. No gas, it's just Zealots. But Zealots with +3 against a heavily Stalker Disruptor army actually can be very good. Letting herO stabilize on that is just insane. It gives herO so much room, and now hero's the one with the supply lead. Zealots on the left side. This should be manageable. Actually, more Disruptors are going to go, and herO blinks on top this time. This time he gets the Disruptors, and the Disruptors on the right side. Zealots get them. This is a problem. This is a massive problem here. Nightmare has fought so hard to get his way back into this game, but here's a 40 army supply. Yeah, it's mostly Zealots, but that doesn't matter because the upgrades are absolutely where they need to be. And more importantly, there are no Disruptors. There are 2 on the map. They're not in either fight where herO is shoving his way through. Probes are going to get pulled here, but this is going to do it. herO almost threw that game so freaking hard that I have never seen. But even still, Nightmare doesn't realize how good of a position he found. and he did not maintain the pressure well enough, and herO's economy carried him through a game where realistically, he almost threw that so hard. That being said, herO does move on to the round of 8. He will be where we expect him to be, and he gets revenge on Nightmare, but he's going to have to play better next week. That is just the long and short of it. He's going to have to play better against whoever he runs into that round of 8, because this was rough. Now, of course, if you like this and you want to see more StarCraft stuff, more Stormgate stuff, you should like this video. You should comment on it. Let me know why you think herO was so off today. And, of course, subscribe to the channel because that's what really helps. And also, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/BeowulfMolf. Go drop me a follow over there, too, and I'll see you next time.